Thank you for joining Wars of the Rosies as we continue with part 12 of The Beginning of Freemasonry by Frank C. Higgins. The 47th problem. The so-called 47th problem of Euclid was undoubtedly regarded by the ancient mystics as a divinely appointed canon of universal harmony, to the fundamental mathematical truth of which might be traced most of the laws of symmetry and order which reign throughout the vast expanse of cosmos. The precise nature of the various connections must be established by analogies rather than by concrete examples, because the peculiar geometrical figure in question was probably deemed one of the most sacred mysteries by the ancients, and particularly one which might not be hewn, cut, carved, or marked in any manner by which it might be legible or intelligible to the profane. Its delineation graphically we probably first owe to the Arab geometers of the early days of our present era, among whom no scruple could have prevailed. The only truly ancient example the writer has ever seen is on a little clay tessera from an Egyptian tomb 40 centuries old, upon which it is rudely but unmistakably present. The psychology of geometrical science to the sympathetic student is as thrilling as that of music or color to the specialist therein. There are marvels in mathematics, indeed, but in geometry, mathematics are applied, and every point, line, superficies, and solid, in its relations and potentialities, bespeaks a subtle something which finite mind instinctively recognizes as the product of infinite mind. We would be utterly unable to realize, much less formulate the notion of law pervading cosmos if all facts and forces did not present unswavering, uncompromising obedience to geometrical verities which are at the root of all of that which we term manifestation, visualized existence. Of the limited volume of these fundamental geometrical laws, and there are surprisingly few to account for the splendors of the universe they present to our vision, the fact that a hypotenuse of a right triangle of 3 to 4 invariably and to the ultra-microscopic fraction measures 5, as we have seen, is one of the most perfect proofs of predetermined plan. The resulting triangle of 3, 4, 5 is not the only example of such a correlation between exact quantities, for geometry is full of them, but it is the simplest and most basic, and calls attention to countless other remarkable factors to the cosmic whole to which its intimate relationship may be demonstrated. It would naturally be a physical impossibility to cover the enormous ground available for discussion within present limits, but some slight notion of the tremendous influence of geometry in general, and this notable Pythagorean proposition in particular, upon the philosophies and theologies of the world may be obtained by deciphering a few ancient occultisms concerning it. In order to get our bearing, we are compelled to formulate an ascertained law of development in all of the latter. Their unique basis is the recognizable and ascertainable phenomena of the universe, the definition of which constitutes what modern man terms science, but which the ancient mind referred more directly to deity as an arbitrary power. All such definition was necessarily confined to terms of time, space, number, and proportion, which can only be expressed in those of mathematics or geometry, the most stupendous of all contemplations being the observation of the vast cosmic machine from an astronomical standpoint. That which struck the ancient mind with the greatest wonder was, self-evidently, the fact that if all of the wonders of the universe resolved themselves into mathematical expressions and the latter into geometrical figures, often simple ones at that, which in turn melted into the simple fundamentals of the latter science, then in the latter must be found the dynamic concentrations which most closely approach a concept of divinity. A further step along the line of developing rational occultism was gained by the employment of identical characters to express both letters and numbers. That which we now call the decimal system was worked out by the power of 9, or 3 times 3. the Pythagorean triangle as employed by the ancient Hebrews. The letters of the Hebrew alphabet and the Greek letters derived from an analogous source, counted from Aleph or Alpha, 1 to Tet, or Theta, 9, and from Jod or Iota, 10, to Pe or Pi, 80. Beginning with R, 200, in Greek 100, the Hebrew letters are one digital value higher than the corresponding Greek letters. It must also be remarked that the Hebrew letter Vav, or 6, corresponded to the now missing digamma in Greek, once placed between the eta and zeta. With this equipment, we can now understand the significance of the ancient Hebrew deities' names such as Al Shaddai, basically translated God Almighty, or El Shaddai, or 1 plus 30 plus 300 plus 4 plus 10, equaling 345, or 3, 4, and 5 in decimal places. Also the corresponding Ahaya, Asher, Ahaya, I am that I am, amounting to 543, the same figures reversed, and their addition, 345 plus 543, equals 888, the basis of the Greek word Jesus, or 10 plus 8 plus 20 plus 70 plus 400 plus 20. The true meaning of which, along a special line of demonstration, is the solar logos, or word creating, sustaining and preserving manifestations of deity, a symbolism still dimly preserved in Masonry under the veil of a 24-inch gauge. The 47th problem was among the ancient Egyptians the symbol of Osiris, Isis, and Horus. The Egyptian name of Mes, a son, which was that of Moses, is equal to 345, while the word Messiah is really Mesjah, or Son of God, a Kabbalism of the Pythagorean triangle, for the word Jah is equivalent to 16, or the sum of 3 plus 4, equaling 7, and 4 plus 5, equaling 9, the two chief cosmic numbers derived from this triangle. 3 plus 4 plus 5 equaling 12. The Hebrews took the ineffable name JHVH, 3 times repeated, and permuted the letters into HJH, 3, HVVH, 4, VJHJH, 5, reading He that was, He that is, and He that will be, or is to come, thus paraphrasing the declaration of Horus in the Book of the Dead, I am yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and the inscription over the shrine of Isis, I, Isis, am all that ever has been, now is, or ever will be, and no mortal has ever lifted my veil. We also know that the secret supreme being of the Egyptians was Hahai, the Mongolian dual principle Ho and Hai, which assimilated to the Sanskrit Fohat, or cosmic energy, and ICH-CHA, human will. It is relatively easy now to follow the Egyptian philosophy of the 47th problem, which attributed the square of 3 to Azar, or Osiris, the square of 4 to Isaha, or Isis, and the square of 5 to Char, or Horus. Let us remark in passing that Char is the Sanskrit word for light, RCH reversed, and is the origin of the tradition that upon discovering the 47th problem, Pythagoras joyfully uttered the word Eureka. Greek mythology is full of stolen Oriental sacred words thus metamorphosized. Azar, which is 3 times 54, 162, is Azara, the solar fire. Isaha, a name still preserved in the Arabic Aisha, the female, meaning terrestrial. Nature, 4 times 54, or 216, which is the sum of the cubes of 3, 4, and 5, and Char, the male principle or fructifying spirit of nature, is 2 times 54, or 108. All of these numbers are multiples of 9, or 3 times 3, and this last number especially is the one defined by Hindu astrology as the full term of human life, and thus represents humanity in the abstract. Egyptian philosophy regarded the great cosmic process of generation and regeneration as resultant upon the infinitely reiterated passages of the male principle through the female principle, father and son being, spiritually a unit, I and my father are one. The 47th problem, a symbol of the creative logos. The number 270, or 9 times 30, represents the number in days of human gestation, and is the sum of 162, which is father, and 108, which is son, thus merely supplying the natural philosophical postulate that the father passing through his vital principle through the mother continues to live in the son. We secure a Pythagorean triangle of 162, 216, 270. If the 47th problem be exhibited as it frequently is, divided into alternating black and white squares, symbolically among other things of the dual principle, the division will be 26, 10 plus 5 plus 6 plus 5, JHVH, of one color, and 24, 8 plus 8 plus 8 of the other, while the measure round about the whole figure will be 36 spaces, given the Pythagorean sacred number of the sun, upon which the sage of Samos swore upon his pupils to secrecy. The 9 plus 16 plus 25 equaling 50 squares thus give rise to the old Greek Kabbalistic name of the sun, Damnamos of the 50 faces. The Hebrews celebrated each 15th year as a jubilee, calling it the power of the number 12, which is 3 plus 4 plus 5. In present conclusion, it is regrettable that we have only just begun to enter upon the mere fringe of this wonderful subject, concerning which, if anything, may mostly truly be said that the world itself could not contain all the books which might be written concerning it. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Roses. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.